この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo here on Thursday morning for more Modao Zushi. Last week on Thursday, we watched episode 1 of Modao Zushi. Now we're gonna watch episode 2. Just episode 2 because it, like the last episode, is also like 30 some odd minutes long. Yeah, 34 minutes. And then I think after this one, they become like normal length, right? Yeah. So the next one is 26, and then all the rest are 24 or like 23 and change. So this will be the last longer episode, and I assume the second part of our big intro to the world. Speaking of introduction to the world, first episode was a pretty awesome introduction to this show and to some stuff about Chinese storytelling that I didn't really know, just wasn't aware of. I'm not terribly aware of Chinese culture. Sorry, just not. Relatively aware of Japanese culture, just stuff that I've sucked up through osmosis, as well as like cultural studies and language classes. But China, not so much. Yeah, not so much, especially when it comes to Chinese fiction. Like I've had some close friends who were Chinese exchange students, so I've met some people and I've talked to them a little bit about the more modern culture, but tradition and fiction, big whoosh. So with that in mind, I need to make a huge shout out to Ash, who wrote a big post on the first episode of Modao Zushi, which I recommend you go and check out. It's a good comment. That first mentioned offhand that this was a classic wuxia zhanjia. Also, I don't speak Chinese. I'm American, and I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm gonna get a lot of things wrong. Bear with me, sorry. But wuxia and zhanjia set up for a novel. And then he went on to describe and explain some of what that actually means, but I did my own research as well. So the wuxia novels are like, they're the martial heroes. The jia part is hero. They're martial heroes, so they're characters that have been able to obtain supernatural abilities through more traditional training methods, like just physical training their own chi. And when we're talking about training chi, we're usually referring to that as cultivation. So our grandmaster of demonic cultivation, demon being Mo, is a cultivator, someone who cultivates spiritual energy regarding demons. And something interesting that I found in some of the glossaries and breakdowns of terms were that demonic cultivators are usually antagonists. They're usually considered like the yin side or the dark side. And that made me start thinking about like, oh, there's actually a bunch of layered symbolism in the show that I wasn't aware of at first. The most notable being that there are the two male leads, and one of them is color-coded with black, and one of them is color-coded with white. Now, that could be something else, but that's a very yin-yang setup, like, right? Two halves, sides of a thing, you know. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Which fits perfectly in with the zhanjia, sort of, I guess it's like an evolution of the wuxia setup, because it's immortal heroes. It's more fantastic. One source referred to them as like low fantasy versus high fantasy, where in the zhanjia there are people who can fly and people who can summon demons and monsters and zombies and ghouls and stuff, which is clearly what we're dealing with here. I mean, first episode we had people flying, people being reincarnated, people like all kinds of interesting things. A thematic element of karma in the people who died last episode. They kind of deserved it, in like a universe justice sort of sense. Yeah. And then another thing that Ash noted was that because this kind of setup is so classic and straightforward and something that most Chinese audiences will just get right away, they've seen it a million times, that often in these kinds of novels, they don't really explain much of the setup because they expect that you're going to get it. It's tradition, right? So almost in the same way that like we don't really need an explanation for an isekai, but something that's much more traditional and much more legit, if you will. I don't know. But it's just that the tropes and style and story beats of this kind of story are so common that they don't feel the need to really explain much of it, which as a newcomer who doesn't understand it is kind of a problem, but I'd rather that than boring, tired, like trite exposition. So I'll take it. My opinion on the first episode was show looks good, show sounds great, show is interesting characters, lots of cool power stuff, inventive, really like almost over the top use of new techniques and CG tools and stuff like that. But there's a restraint to their use that makes them feel better. Makes them feel a little bit better. So I guess we'll turn our attention to plot. Last episode, our grandmaster, our patriarch, awakens as a new person, a new individual who has sacrificed himself specifically to bring this character back from the spirit world. Okay. He's not well loved by anybody in this new form, so he sort of leans into it and gets goofy with it. One wrinkle that I'm not sure of is if he was considered an antagonist in the past, or if he went down in history as an antagonist, even if he was actually acting on the side of good. I get the feeling that the other clans either removed him significantly from the history books or made him out to be a villain in the history books. I don't know why I get that vibe, but I get that vibe. But my thought is, like, if he is a demonic cultivator, then he could have been on the antagonistic side of history, and this could be a chance to prove that he was really a cool dude. Because we as the audience have already seen him. We're instantly rooting for this guy. He's great. How that's going to play into the other character that we've sort of met, the super powerful guy with the instrument, who I'm pretty sure, given that he appears in a lot of the art, and when I was looking for wallpapers to find something to use as the background for my thumbnails, the two of them appear in almost all of them together. So I assume that they are the core of the romance that happens further down the line, or happened in the past, but then will reignite further down the line. I don't know. I figure those two will be the core for it. Don't really know what they're about, how they're going to interact, what their deal is. I thought that the patriarch guy was like kind of afraid that the other guy would recognize him. But I don't know. Okay. I've been blathering. Let's stop doing that. Let's watch Modazushi episode 2. I have it up. It's ready. It's at 0 seconds. There will be picture-in-picture versions with the video up there in the description down there. Timer-based version up on YouTube. Beep timer at the beginning to sync up with your own media if that's what you want to do. Discussion at the end if I have things I want to talk about. I'm sure I will. And that's it. Beep timer goes here. That was really weird. Hi, Tencent. My tea tastes funky today. Don't know why. What are these advertisements at the beginning? They're weird. Also, I was told I should pay special attention to the OP and ED lyrics because they are apparently from the perspective of the two characters. So this is from the Yiling Patriarch's perspective. That rotating bonsai is nutty. Like, these are all CG, but I don't know how they're shading them with the paint. It's kind of glorious. In this life, though. Paths differ, but integrity endures. But the border between love and hate remains unclear. So we have a sort of a star-crossed lovers setup, I think. They're on opposite sides. They're shown in conflict and fighting, but and the black and white of good and evil is very clear cut, but there's a gray area when it comes to acquaintance and romance. Whoa. Okay. Okay. Framed with the moon. Let's book it, donkey. He's such a lovable goof. That is an absurd number of layers in that environment. It's just kind of absurd. Uh-oh. It's a tarp. Uh-oh. It's a tarp. Ah, crap. A little too late. No, donkey! No! He was such a good donkey. Not donkey friend. Another of his inventions? Yeah, but what were they hunting? Oh! You're just gonna leave donkey? I said it's a mildly comic relief character. Jinling. What? I didn't know there's nobody here. Okay, so he knows him. Whoosh. So, wait. So he just met a member of a clan family, and he's inferred that the new body that he's inhabiting, is a member of that family? Or the son of the... I'm confused. I'm sure it'll become clearer. Uh-oh. What did you just say about my mom? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. The fuck? Hmm. Wait. Okay. Nice use of reflection. Great framing, too. Oh. Moon. Alright, who dis? Hmm. Just remove that real quick. Oh. Nope. Nope. Well, you can try. Oh. Well. Avoid worldly affairs. That's the guy, right? Hi, Moon Dude. That's that boy. Shut up, kid. Flying blue sword? We don't know anybody with a flying blue sword. Yet. I assume we're about to. That's what I'm hoping for. Huh. Ooh. Oh? Okay. So that demon is now on the loose. Ah, alright. Alright, alright. Hmm. And now the two of you are alone. He doesn't even acknowledge him. Oh, never mind. Just gives him a little nod. Hmm. Oil and water. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is this where he recognizes the sword from? Is that him as a babby? So that's that boy. He said you have no mother to guide him, and he's the one who killed his mother? That seems to be what. Oh, jeez. Okay. Okay. Oh, jeez, guys. Guys, there's a demon hand. Yeah. Ah. Ah, into the creepy cave. Let's all go together. Okay. That is some next level product placement. I'm all red. What? Who's that? A deity? Hi. So who is that? It's a woman. Uh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Nah, dude, the eyes moved. No, they did. Yeah. And who lit all these candles? What's going on here? Oh, geez, who's lighting all those candles? Uh-oh. There's the arm. Oh, boy. Is that the arm of the statue? Oh, yep. Uh-oh. You guys better go grab somebody stronger. Use that flute motif. Hi. Doesn't seem super effective. Man, the flowing fabric. Even in these wides, it's great. Look at that. This is solid. All right. Backfire. Okay. Drop a giant bell on it. Holy shit. Ah, I'm getting that celebrating too early kind of vibe. We've established that that demon hand is real strong. And combined with whatever spiritual energy was in that statue, yikes. Oh. Looked like it just drained his energy. Rip magic tool. And the hand is a lot bigger. Cool fire. Yeah, asking that Han Guanjun guy for help is a good move. Who's the archer? It's him, yeah, okay. Ah, cool cut. Still going. Wow. Drawing attention. That was a cool cut too. He's making little cracks. Saved by the Yiling Patriarch. He actually has the flute. Oh, he made one from that piece of bamboo. Hush, hush. This is the power of music. Mmm. Wow. What? So he summoned, yeah, a ghost general. All right. Is he wearing the same outfit as one of the clans? The clan that was like not super nice? I'm not sure he is. God, the choice of flute for this is so wonderful. It's ethereal and haunting and yet still capable of being energetic. What's up now? What's up now, dude? Do you now have to deal with the ghost general that you just summoned? Ah, geez, the hand is still here. Ruh-roh. Oh, buddy, we saw that in episode 1. Wow, those chains. There goes the hand. Oh my god. Oh, that's really inventive. Someone pulling strings. Got it. Maybe not your smartest move. You guys saw that guy take out the demon hand that none of you could touch, right? You guys saw that? No? Okay. Whoa. He just commanded it? Returning him? Or releasing him? Oh, the one person who would recognize that skill. Right? Who would recognize everything about it. And the other guy said that this ghost general is associated with the Yiling Patriarch. Uh-oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whew. Okay. Oh my gosh, that fabric motion. Well then. You've been discovered. Hey, donkey. Little apple. So he said that'll whip out any possessing soul? Which means that if he gets hit by it, he's gone from this planet. He's just got hit by it. Seems to be all right. Mm. So he's not a possessing entity. He was invited in. You could try. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't. I think he suspects, man. Huh. But he didn't get to choose. That's kind of the magic of it. Hmm. But it did the same thing. Who else could do that? I don't know. Maybe other people could do that. Okay. So, just being a practitioner of the demonic arts makes him an enemy. And he hides behind him. Hmm. His deeds are righteous. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Doubt it. Hmm. Oh, is this the ED or is this Lanclan? No, this isn't the ED. Wow, water. Good looking water. Oh, hey, it's the little Pokemon. Yeah, please tell me we don't have to leave Little Apple. Hmm. Brilliant. Okay. Oh, that is interesting. All right. Oh. The cloud recesses. Thanks, ads. All right. Again, paying attention to the ED lyrics. I assume these will be from Yun Guan. Well, fuck names. The white robed guy. My zither under the moon. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Retaining grace and virtue with a desolated heart. Hmm. Hmm. Unrequited feelings. Interesting. Okay. For well, blah. First off, I want to say that I was kind of very rapidly sucked into the world of the show. Uh, it's sort of like a very subjective metric. How fast do I go from, like, in my head, observing and watching, to being a part of the experience? And in this case, it was real fast, and it maintained that pretty much throughout. So, big thumbs up there, because it means what's going on is interesting, even when stuff I don't quite understand necessarily, or I'm getting confused by naming schemes because there are a lot of characters with a lot of names and a lot of clan names and a lot of like other things that are named. So a lot of it is kind of and then there are like honorifics and courtesy names and things beyond that. It's a little much for me, but that's okay. I think I'm following the basic gist of it, so that's fine. But even when there were things that I didn't quite get, I got enough to be invested and interested all the way through. This episode kind of had it all. The first episode did too, but that's expected because it's an introductory episode. I kind of expected the second episode to be more focused on a specific point, but instead we just sort of continued the story and actually touched on a lot more different things than I was expecting. Met some new clans, some new people, some new individuals who will seem like they're going to be characters. Golden Cloak guy, the young one who has some kind of interesting backstory and history with our Yiling patriarch, but uncertain what. Yeah. And then the character with the purple whip, who is a real mean boy. Really mean. Really mean to like one of his own clan members, the golden cloaked guy, who's like, if you don't bring me back some good prey, don't come back. Don't bother. Ooh, that's rough. That's rough stuff, dude. But But the episode kind of had it all. We had some dramatic moments. We had some tense, like, will they figure out who he is moments. We had some crazy power reveals and some really interesting, like quick setup payoffs. We see him, chop through a stalk of bamboo, and a few minutes later, that becomes a flute, which he uses to save the day. It's pretty cool. It's a nice little, because once you see the flute, you're like, oh, he just made that from that piece of bamboo. That makes sense. Paying attention to the OP and ED, I think, was a very good idea, and I'm grateful to whoever suggested that I do that. They are interesting, and they hint at other elements of the story, considering that, like in the ED, there's the mention of the specific wine that we just saw them sharing, and it was referred to as like for a drunken reverie. So that's the moment. And then there's an interesting contrast in characterization, or like in character, between these two who know each other from the past. I'm gonna forget their names, sorry. But Patriarch Boy is very like, do whatever I want, sort of roguish, out doing whatever he wants, having fun, enjoying himself. And then his it's not his foil, but his mirror, I guess, is very strict, rules driven. What was the line in the OP itself? Like grace and nobility, something like that. That's his value. And so you would think that they would clash, but of course opposites attract. And they gain something from each other. It reminds me of other classic pairings. The first one that came to mind was from Samurai Champloo, was Mugen and Jin. Was what they struck me as. Mugen is kind of the roguish, stylistically crazy, does whatever he wants, Ronin, and then Jin, the Ronin still, but he's more traditionalist and follows his own code, follows a way. That's the kind of setup of character duo that we have here. I get the feeling that we need a third. We need a third party that's not part of like a love triangle or a romance or anything, but who serves as a touchstone character. I guess Yearling Patriarch could function in that role himself as our POV. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, but in this episode, we had some action. We finally sealed up this demon hand that we've been dealing with for the first two. And my thought after this episode is that these first two are probably intended to be the introduction, or potentially they are the first novel, or first section of it, or volume of the manga, or whatever. I don't know. But this seems like the lead-in. This was all one big hour-ish long lead-in to the rest of the story. We have to establish the characters. We have to get them to meet each other in intriguing circumstances, and then we can go from there. So, okay, some other things that I'm just gonna stream of consciousness until I run out of things to stream of consciousness. One other thing that I noticed in the ED lyrics was the mention of unrequited feelings from White Robe Boy, which interested me because it pretty explicitly states that he had feelings that he believed were unrequited for Yearling Patriarch Boy. Jesus. It implies that he had feelings that were unrequited, but we know that they were requited. Like, both of them liked each other. So I guess, in a sense, what we have is a second chance at love story. Two characters who are star-crossed in a way. One being a demonic cultivator, one being not demonic cultivator. So they're already at odds with each other in terms of traditions and their powers. But who grew up together to an extent, or learned something together, and fell for each other, each believing that the other had not fallen for them. And then never got to bring that to fruition in any like satisfying way. So his reincarnation gives them a second chance. even though they're not expecting that it will. That's just, I mean, kind of conjecture, I guess. But okay, interesting. There was mention of a flying blue sword that cut down all the nets. Doesn't seem like that's the sword that any of the characters we met uses, unless that's White Robe Guy's sword. But I don't think so. Some really crazy fight animation in this episode. Some cool extended long cuts, fully choreographed with no cuts in between. There's one where the guy in gold is firing his bow, and it's all one cut, or all one shot as we follow him through the trees, and then he pulls the arrow, and then we follow the arrow as it's released, and the camera speed speeds up. Actually, I want to go find that. Let's go find that. It's once he's firing at the beastie creature. Well, there are cuts like this too. Whoosh. That's sweet. Always a big fan of that kind of an angle. Okay, running around. Do the bell thing. Wait, is this before the or after the arrow thing? Ah, there it is. Okay, so let's find this whole cut. Goes here, still going. Still going. Still going, close into the eye. Pause, let the arrows fly past, and then we catch up to them. So they're moving faster than our camera can keep up. And then we finally cut to there. I think the most interesting part of this is when we flip around right here and he knocks an arrow. Look how many layers are in the background. Actually, this is kind of part of the stunning stuff. It's probably a fully CG environment. So they're not actually layers, they're individual trees that have been rendered. Yeah, they have to be. They're not acting as though they're layers. But you can see as we're moving through this background that there are so many individual things moving at different rates past the camera to give us that feeling of flow. Yeah, it's a fully CG environment. Each tree is individually rendered. So it's not layers. But that one section where we swing around real quick and he knocks this arrow. Lots of blur in it. I don't know how that turned into 3 arrows. I guess maybe that is part of his art. Because he knocks this one arrow down, and then boom, it's 3. Alright. And then he yanks them. Close into the eye. Fire. Out past us. And then we catch up. And past them. Pretty neat. Something else that's really interesting here. Do you see the heat distortion, the heat waves over his face? You can see them right here. You see that ripple? You can see it in his eyes if you look at his eyes, because we're hardwired to see weird things in the eyes. You can see the ripple of the flames around them. It's a clever little touch. And then we've got this edge lighting highlighting his hair where the fire would be, but it's not here where darkness is above. It's really nice. Same edge lighting on his shoulders and such. It's really nice. The attention to detail in a lot of the art is really fantastic. I like the way this fire looks, which is interesting because I'm pretty sure it's CG fire. It may actually be like chroma keyed real fire as well. Like some of it looks too real. Like this lick of flame here. It looks too real, but like a piece of real fire that's been cut out and put in there. But what's interesting about this fire is it's all consistent visually, and it's also consistent with the environment. And part of what helps with that is the incredible detail on lighting the environments with flame. So where that lick of fire is, there's this green glow on the bark of this tree, and the same anywhere else that there is fire. That, along with the layers of ember effects. Yeah. So we can see, like, these aren't just pasted on there. These layers of ember effects, you can see the embers, like, disappear behind trees. Right? You see that? If you look right here in the scene, you can see those embers go behind the branches. This gives us a really strong sense of depth. And then there's also this this smoke in the background, which gets thicker the further away we are because we're looking through more and more of it. That also adds to the realism. Plus, there are things like clothing is almost always animated. It's almost always moving, at least on a cycle. And then in more Sakuga-esque cuts, it is always just flowing like crazy. So is hair. Everything looks just lovely. Looks really great. Yeah, so he summons this guy. He's pretty dope. It's pretty freaking dope. So, being a practitioner of the demonic arts makes him their enemy immediately, and it seems to be like a moot point. As soon as that other upper level guy in that one clan realizes that he's a member of the demonic arts, first he says, if you meet a member of the demonic arts, kill him and feed him to your dogs. And then later he's like, he's one of those, let's go kill him. And everybody's like, all right. So, I'm so glad that we didn't lose a little apple. I was getting attached to that donkey. Donkey. All right, so what's this guy's name? Jin Ling. Okay. So, Lan Ling, Jin, what? See, this is why I get confused. Jin Ling, courtesy name Rulan. Okay. But his name is Jinling. Where does Lanling come from? Lanling Jin clan? But his name is Jinling. What? I'm confused. I'm confused by the names, and I'm probably going to continue to be confused by the names. It's probably... What is a peony? I think I know this word, but I don't know this word. Oh, it's a plant. Sparks amidst snow motif, so it's a flower. Which I assume is... What? Is that the motif on his clothing? The flower on his quiver? Probably. Okay, so then they have history together. Ranking the merits of the Burial Mound Siege, which I assume is the battle that we see at the beginning of the first episode. Ranking the merits of the Burial Mound Siege, so all of the people who fought there. Jiang Cheng was first. Jin Guanshan second. I don't know who these people are or what relation they have to the other characters. But I assume that Jin Guanshan, because we just met Jin Ling, is his father? I don't know. So, it's a strange twist of fate for me to reincarnate in his body. And then he says this line. How can you be so disrespectful? Like you don't have a mother to teach you manners. Knowing that something from their past. Knowing that something from their past. But then we see that scene. But I want to see it again because it happened so quickly. Oof. Ah, okay, here it is. So, leaves to flash us into the past. we get here, we've got this little baby, which I assume is the boy that we just met, right? That's Jinling. And that's his father, I assume. Uh-huh. And then we get a stab. His face, a woman's voice. How could Wei Wuxian bear to do it? That's the female senior in the same cultivation school who brought him up. I assume this is the mother. This innocent child is most pitiable, and he's got the dot on his head, so that is the kid. Barely a month old, but lost both parents. And then I taunted him saying that he has no mother to guide him. Okay, I'm not positive that I get it, but the feeling is that he killed both of this kid's parents. And then reincarnated to tell him a yo mama joke. I know it's dramatic as hell, but I can't help but giggle. That's horrible. Okay, so... right, the Cornetto ad. Oh my god. I forgot there was a Cornetto ad. Okay, so conflict between the clans, adolescent conflict between the clans, leads to one of them getting tossed down into that, this giant spiritual cave with a giant statue. Here, wait. Four-armed female deity. Parvati? Kali? No, it wouldn't be a Hindu deity. It might be a Buddhist deity, though. Tara? She appears as a female bodhisattva in Mahayana Buddhism. I believe that is correct. That is what it looks like. But I don't know. There are kind of a couple of multiple armed female Buddhist deities. Oh, are there deity Taoist or Taoist? Yeah, I don't know. There's no point to looking into this. Anyway, big scary statue. I think that the having the eyes move just like this and letting us see it, and then having the characters argue about it. Like, nah, there's no way. You're just trying to scare us. You're just spooking us. Well, we're sitting here going, no, dude, that statue moved. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice. It's a way of building tension. Our characters don't know that there's a bomb under the table, right? But we know that there's a bomb under the table. Or in this case, a living demon and possessed statue. Okay. So, demon statue comes out. We fight it. It's ineffective. What everyone does is ineffective. We get a magic tool. It's ineffective. Ghost hand reeks of unholiness. That's probably why there are zombies everywhere. We shoot arrows at it. And here's that setup payoff. Where's the branch? Ah, well, he cuts a chunk of bamboo, and a bit later, boom, there he is, saving the day with a flute. And they make fun of him for it. Come on, man, what are you doing? You stupid lunatic. But then the ghost general appears. So I assume that this is a specific summon that the Yiling Patriarch can summon, and no one else. Which is why it's a dead giveaway that he is that. Right? Or at least it's a familiar one. And then he says something about whatever it is, as long as it's full of resentful energies. As though his summoning isn't a super specific technique, or... Yeah. Maybe that requires a better flute. His special flute. Because they mentioned some special phantom flute, which we've seen him with. So maybe there's something to that flute, and he needs to go and get it back. That could be interesting. In any case, we do defeat the demon hand guy, and then he tries to... Okay, but it's awesome. Cool animation. They suck it into this evil spirit containing bag. Great. What's there to fear? The Yiling Patriarch is long gone. So this is one of the lines that links the Yiling Patriarch and the Ghost General together. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about that. So they try to fight it, and then he attempts to draw the Ghost General away. I assume to try and save it, so that he can summon it later. And then runs backward into this guy, and it's a very dramatic moment. Because there's a strong implication of suspicion here, that he suspects him of being someone he knows really well from his past. So, in that moment, he says that out loud. He says, "I must get him away now," out loud. And then it's as though he lets him do it. As though he allows that before he drops the flute. And then it really, I don't know, he's just staring at him, just staring him down. This is a really cool shot. Just because the choice to... How do I put this? All right, consider yourself a director. You have to make a scene. Two characters are standing. Two characters are standing facing one direction. An attack is coming at them from behind. They both notice it. One of them turns around and stops the attack. Okay? When we go from this shot of, like, how do you orchestrate that? How do you construct that as a director? Okay, show a shot of the attack coming in. That's what we just had. Show a reaction shot of the character who's going to be saved, noticing it. Then, instead of cutting to a reaction shot or a face or a wide of the guy who's going to block it, we cut to his feet. We cut to his feet and the motion of him turning around rapidly with the flow of his robes. And we cut to his hair. And it flows away to reveal his, essentially his weapon, his zither. Zither? I think so. And then we cut behind them to a semi-wide where we frame him in between our main character's legs. Almost an Eva shot. It's really clever. It's really clever. And what it does is it gives us this... We don't see what he does to stop it, but we hear it and we see the impact of it. Boom. And it's awesome. It's also a cool framing device. Like, the triangle of the spread legs matches the triangle of his form and his body. And his robe, I mean. Comes to a point here. It all works together. It's nice. Real nice. So, got this magic whip that whips out possessive spirits. Doesn't work on him because he was invited in. I thought it was going to be something like, it doesn't work on him because the spirit that used to inhabit his body is no longer there. Like, whoever he was before is dead, in the ritual to bring back the Yiling Patriarch. But it seems to be simpler, just like, because he's not a forceful possessive spirit, he can't be removed. Which is really convenient. But I wouldn't consider it like a contrivance. It's just a way of demonstrating that there isn't an out. Okay. So, he gets protected a little bit by some people who are like, yeah, but he saved us. He seems all right. Also, his flute playing sucks. There's no way he's the Yiling Patriarch. That's stupid. And he's just like, yeah. Please don't suspect me. And then off we trot. He hides behind him. Yep. Also, okay. Master Mo. Oh. That's an interesting piece of wordplay, isn't it? Because Mo is demon, right? Or at least in one of the glossaries that I read a couple days ago, it was like, it was used with reference to the demonic cultivation art stuff. So is the guy who he's reincarnated into, is his name Mo? I don't remember any of the names. Ah! Is his name Mo? If so, that's interesting. Potential wordplay. So this is an important line. His path is uncommon, but his deeds are righteous. So just because the way he achieves his goals is unfamiliar does not mean that he is evil. That's the kind of sentiment that's necessary for the two of them to get along in any way, shape, or form, or to have even mutual respect as enemies. And he makes jokes about there's a really attractive bull, but it's not my type, and also neither are you. But this guy right here, I'd smash. That should be enough to disgust both of you, and it backfires. Very well. You're coming with us. I want to observe you for a little longer. Figure out what your deal is. So immediately, this clan has rules. They did call him Master Mo. Okay. When he's done crying, drag him inside. Yeah, they are harsh and straightforward, but he's also pretty clever, using the apple to get what he wants. Very clever. Then we have this flashback. So he hides or steals some jars of expensive wine, I assume. And then is up for a night of revelry, gets caught, and offers, want to join? It's perfect. And then that wine in particular is referenced in the ED. Okay. I don't know where this is going. Our main character is now going into the Long Clan's place, the Cloud Recesses, a place that he's apparently familiar with. Seems like he did studying there, alongside this other guy. There is suspicion on him. Who is he? What's he all about? How does he know all this demon cultivation stuff? I think that the next thing that I would expect to happen or hope happens is that we open the world up a little bit. That by going to one of these clan households, there's a chance for our main character to actually have an in-depth conversation and catch up on what's happened over the last couple decades, figure out the state of the world, the state of all the clans, and what's really going on. Because I feel like that's the necessary information that we need to determine what our goals are. If this is going to follow the classic Janja format, then immortality would be the goal. But I don't get that vibe yet. I don't get that feeling yet. So, in fact, it's even possible that the Yiling Patriarch has achieved immortality to an extent via reincarnation, but I don't know. All in all, an interesting second episode. A lot of cool stuff. Production continues to be excellent. I feel like it's worth watching for that alone. But then it's also really tightly written and blends some comedic elements with some action elements, with some dramatic elements, with some tense elements, with some intrigue backstory stuff where we're getting little bits and pieces filled in and having to imagine the whole picture. And it's really fun. It's a good time. Good watch. I think that's going to be about it for me, though. So, let's wrap it up. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Modazushi, episode 2. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and I hope to catch you next week in the next one. Peace.